Year 2, it's Mrs Campbell. This week in our art class we're going to learn to make one of these little Anansi the spider pom-pom creatures. So I'm going to talk you through how to do that today. You're not going to need too many things, just some wool, some pipe cleaners, and then I'm just using some of these little stick-on googly eyes afterwards. Now I've chosen to use black wool for my spider, but you could really use any colour. So don't worry if you've only got some pink or some blue. Who's to say that a spider has to be black? Okay, so what you're going to need to do first of all is make the pom-pom. Now there's lots of different ways to make pom-poms. I make them at home and I use a proper pom-pom maker, a little plastic one, or you can use cardboard. But actually I would say the easiest and quickest way is just to use your fingers. So that's what we're going to do today. So all you're doing is wrapping the wool around your fingers. Now when you start, make sure your fingers are kind of spread out a little bit. If you start like this and you start wrapping, you don't want the ends of your fingers to start changing colour where it's got too tight. So try and keep your fingers a little bit spread out, and then you're going to start wrapping the wool. Now you're going to need to do this about 100 times. So I think I'm about 10 now, so I'm going to keep going. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we're just going to keep wrapping, keep trying to keep your fingers spread out so it doesn't get too tight. About 30 I've done now. It doesn't need to be too exact. And then just keep going. And it's been lovely to see some of the art that you've been doing at home. I know that Miss Smith and Mrs Rawlings, Miss Orchard, they've all been sending through pictures to me of artwork that you've been doing at home. So I've really enjoyed seeing that. Just going to keep going. Okay, it's up to you how many times you go round, somewhere between 100 and 150. The more times you go round, the more full your pom-pom will look in the end. I would guess that's about 100. You can count when you're doing it at home, and then you're just going to snip off. Okay, so that is about 100 wraps of the wool. Now, when you slide this off of your fingers, you need to be careful that you don't drop it. You might need an extra pair of hands to help with the next bit. So just take off your wool and you're going to sort of keep it bunched together. Okay, so I've got my 2 bunches like that. And then you need to take a separate piece of wool and you're going to tie this around the middle of the bunch. Now I'd go around a couple of times just to make sure it's really secure. Now if you've got another pair of hands, this is where it's quite good to get somebody to pop a finger and hold that knot really tight. Hopefully I can do this without an extra finger. So just maybe tie it around a couple of times. Okay, so now we've tied the wool. I'm just trying to show you there. A bit tricky to see in black. So we've tied it round the middle and I've done a couple of knots to make sure it's really, really tight. Now, when I made my spider here, I wanted to be able to hang him. I'm hoping that the Year 2 children who are in school are going to have them hanging from the ceiling. So if you want to be able to make him hang, then what you can do is pop another piece of wool round now, however long you want it to be. So you can just literally tie it over exactly where the other piece was. Just get my loops out of the way. Okay, and then later we'll use those 2 pieces to hang him up. Just going to tie that one round like that. Okay, so now I've got the 2 bits of wool that I originally had and another 2 bits which I could later use to hang him. So those two bits that we originally had left over from tying our first piece of wool, these are going to help to tie on the legs of our spider. So this is where you need to get some pipe cleaners. I've just used some small ones here. If you've got bigger ones, you can just cut them down. They cut easily with scissors. So you need to take your 4 pipe cleaners and fold them roughly in half, and then that's going to give us 8 of our spider legs. Okay, so you're going to then pop those in the middle of your wool, get your 2 ends, and then we're going to tie those on using the wool. Again, I'm going to go around a couple of times just to make sure that they're really secure. Okay, so now you can see where his legs are going to be. I'm going to snip those 2 bits off. Now this is where you can start making your pom-pom now. So you just, with a pair of scissors, you're just going to go around and start cutting every loop of wool, and you'll see how your pom-pom shape is going to start fluffing out. These school scissors are not very sharp. Maybe you've got some slightly better scissors at home that will cut the wool a bit easier. It might go a bit quicker. So while I'm cutting this, I just want to say thank you to Marley, because I actually I saw a picture of a spider that Marley had made at home, very similar to this, and she inspired me to make my own pom-pom spider. So thank you, Marley. I'm not sure if I've done quite as good a job as you will have done. Right, so I've been around, I've cut all my loops. I'm just going to check through. I can see I've missed a few there, so we'll just keep cutting those. Okay, and then you can fluff out your pom-pom. Now, you can leave your pom-pom like this, or if you want him to have a bit more of a rounded shape like this one had, you can just give him a bit of a haircut. So literally with the scissors, seen a couple more loops there, you can just go round. Again, these scissors are not ideal, but if you just go round your pom-pom, you can shape it and make it a bit more round, okay? But there we've got our pom-pom with our pipe cleaners, and then all you need to do is maybe bend those legs into a shape that look a little bit more spider-like. So I'm going to bend 4 on that side, 4 on this side. Okay, so his legs are more of that shape. And then just to finish him off, we're going to take the googly eyes. Now these ones are the ones that you just peel the backing off, so we don't need to worry about any glue. Okay, and then just find where you think his face is going to be and just stick them on. Now I did wonder if maybe we should give him more than 2 eyes. I think real spiders have got lots of eyes. You might want to stick 6 or 8 eyes on. And there he is. So now we've got 2 spiders, okay? And like I say, we've left that string so you can tie it and hang it up. And I'm going to hang mine up from the ceiling, and I even made, let me just tip that up, I've even made a web for him, so he's going to hang up there and keep an eye on the children that are in my class. Okay, so have a go at making your own spider, and again, send in your pictures, and I look forward to seeing them. All right guys, have fun and take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye.